What is up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and welcome to my vid on the Columbus Toy and Game Expo. I'm here with Little Strident and ODC Datsme. Agent O will show up a little bit later. He's on his way. And yeah, just come with us as we run through this crazy little expo and find a bunch of knickknacks on my much shorter list since I'm pretty much up to snuff with Joe's and stuff. So let's go do it. So, welcome to the Columbus Toy Expo 2018. There's Agent O. Below me is Little Strident. And I plan on talking a little bit during the video so that you can, during the footage, so that, you know, I can kind of give you some insight as to some of what was going on, what I was looking for, because a difference between this visit and last year's is that last year's I still had a lot of things on my list, but this year I have more of a tunnel focus and a smaller list because I've pretty much come to the end of you know, looking for all those grails. So yeah, come with us.
Fifth dimension, or third dimension, whatever. The fifth dimension.
Yeah, that cartoon was not very good.
Yeah, it was not.
Another thing was I've spent a lot of time focusing on getting grails, so a lot of the stuff leading up to this year, I managed to find a lot of the grails. I mean, I had a lot of help, but I managed to find them, so that makes it a lot easier. When I go, I pick up odds and ends. There's ODC and Agent O and Little Strident. It's one of those things, you know what I mean, where like it kind of lowers the focus, you know. So I get to go, and you'll see more footage this time than you did last time, because last time I was really hunting. Actually, the previous 2-3 times I was hunting real hardcore, and this time I wasn't really hunting that hardcore. I was just looking for things that are hard to find in my area right now, you know, like the X-Men or the Deadpool wave, you know, Bishop and Omega Red, stuff like that. And the first 10 years Marvel Legends, Marvel Studios figures. A lot of those were really difficult to find in my area. You can find some of them, like the Cap, you can find the Iron Man, and the Hulkbuster and the Hulk, because no one's buying that shit. It's peg warming like a motherfucker because it's a little too expensive for just 2 figures, you know. The Doctor Strange Mark 50 and the Thanos, same deal. It's too expensive for what you're getting, so it's just peg warming. So I'm just waiting for when the shit hits clearance, and then I'm gonna pick all that shit up. But you know, some of the other single packed figures, that's what I'm looking for. But yeah, let me shut up.
I found Scarlet, I found CoverGirl, I found a whole bunch of figures here.
Yeah. G.I. Joe figures, the figures is here.
The figures are the figures.
Get the figures.
You're gonna have a whole bunch of toys when you get home.
No, I'm done. I already.
I'm talking about him.
Because he bought mostly Joe's, right?
Yeah.
Did you get mostly Joe's?
Yeah. I still want to find some Predator stuff.
Some who?
Predator stuff.
Yeah, they don't really have that much.
I might get one of the packs. He said he had one of the Kings.
Oh, he did? I didn't see him out.
A whole gang of people came here in the morning and bought like
all of the hacks.
All the stuff.
Jesus.
He's like, I had like 8 nights.
What's up, man?
One guy bought all 8 nights.
Wow.
That's so lame.
I know. You know how it is.
The green thing, but I can't remember what it's called.
Lots and lots of Joe stuff.
You have a Hot Wheel.
This way. Do you have a Hot Wheel? One Hot Wheel. Only one. I don't know about this price.
I went through every single one of these bins and they're all like...
This is the dude who sold, I think, no, it's the one before this, where I got the MCC from. For
was it?
$100. It was not this one. It was the guy, the redhead guy. Nico, pay attention. Pay attention. Use your eyes. No. The who? Yeah, that is an agent. You're right. Ooh, excuse me.
got that.
No, I'm good. I don't need any of those. Hey, Ultraman. I think I'm doing something right because my kid knows about Ultraman and Super Sentai in general and most tokusatsu.
Whoa.
Yep,
See?
yep. It's pretty cool. Goodness, the bane of our existence as collectors. Pops.
Now where's our
Don't make me happy. Jimmy Hart's here. I'm no longer a wrestling fan, so it doesn't matter.
So I'm not really a big wrestling fan anymore. I used to be. So maybe when I was, maybe a lot of years ago, I would have probably jumped on meeting him, but I was like, meh. But there were a lot of wrestling figures, a lot of vendors selling wrestling figures. I find that the wrestling figures work for me as goons or, you know, fighters, you know, jobbers as we call them in wrestling. But like with my Street Fighter and like, you know, Fatal Fury and Tekken and all those other figures, they work for that. Sometimes, like I said, as goons. The heads work well if you have those creative superstar bodies and you can kind of swap those out. So, you know, just a little insight on those.
Lots of Transformers stuff, wow.
Oh, you're talking about this? You have?
Yep, I used to have that when I was little. Yep.
Oh.
Most of this stuff. This is when they literally made everything that was in the books, you know what I mean?
Running around half naked?
Yeah, that's when he escaped from Weapon X.
There was a lot of old stuff, a lot of Transformers. I think one of these years, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go on a, maybe next year, that's what I'll do when I go. I'll bring the older son, because they have this thing twice now. They have it in March, and then they have it again in September. Maybe when I go in March, I'll go looking for villains, you know, for Decepticons.
Oh look, the Flashpoint set.
Oh.
You see it? It's pretty cool.
Take a picture of Shazam.
Which Shazam? Oh, the old school one? Yeah. DC Direct. Lots of Joe stuff. Yeah, I have that already. Yeah. Mazinger Z. What's going on, man?
Yeah, not much. How are you guys?
We're good.
You having a good time?
Yeah,
Good.
he's having fun.
You got, wow! What is that?
Hold it right, man.
Maui hook?
Yeah, from Moana.
Is that from the Rock movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great, man. You can go catch a whale with that.
I know, right? Have a good one, man.
It's nice to meet you.
You too. What's up? Someone was taking a picture. There's a TIE fighter pilot.
From Star Wars.
Of course. There's always at least one. What's going on, man? Goodness. Serpentera.
Oh.
And Tor, the Shuttle Zord. Oh, that's a cool haul.
Yeah.
Look. Steppenwolf from Superpowers.
Yeah. I have that.
These are the, remember I was telling you, the Joker I have? No, this is the Toy Biz Joker that we had that broke when he fought Batman, but these are the ones that if you squeeze their legs, no, that's Toy Biz. This is the one, yeah, see? No, not that one, Nico. This one, maybe. Oh, he's old and broken. Yeah, look at Robin. If he squeezes his legs. Woo. Squeeze his legs. See the chop?
Teach him.
I know, right? Oh wait, let's look in here and see if we find Skater Mike.
Okay.
I'm on a quest to find Skater Mike with his skateboard. This was the first Michelangelo I had. Remember I was telling you about the one you wind up, he's sticking out his tongue, and he spins his nunchucks? That's it.
Oh. Well, that's kind of lame.
I have that though.
Why does he have an axe and a sword?
Because the guy gave him one. Whoever's selling this.
Slash.
No, that's not Slash. That's Taco. Slash is purple. Or like a dark, like a blue. Here's Slash. He has purple on him. He's like a bluish, turquoise-ish
Oh, you're
color.
talking about this? This is what you had when you were a kid?
Yep. Yeah, they don't have it. Let it go. Come on. Let's look here. Hi guys. Section. A lot of video games.
It was kind of weird because I often go to this thing and don't look at the video games. Like I don't really look for old stuff, even though they have a lot of it. In town here, we have a place called Played It, Trade It, which is like, you know, really old school, and they kind of carry a little bit of everything. So whenever I go here, I'm just going for the novelty of seeing, you know, what the games they have are, or what emulation machines like that one I just walked past they have set up. They have like how many different games. That kind of stuff makes me happy. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, this turnout was pretty cool. They had a lot of like tournament type stuff going on, so you were hearing them from the other end of the convention. It was like, good lord, people were really getting into this shit.
Move your fingers. Move your fingers. You're playing with that stick. You shoot with these. All right, move around. You don't want to get shot. Keep pressing. Keep pressing. There you go. Press it. See? Or hold it down. Move around. You got to move. You just got killed because you didn't move. Move around. There you go. Move around.
I told Diego,
You can look for Uncle Phil. Watch out, Nico. We're at Marauders. Oh wow, I never saw that. Redhead dude? What's going on, man?
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Don't get no picture of me. I got like 2 more in town.
And no trip to this toy show would be complete without a trip to the Marauders booth or table. I really, really, really dig talking to those guys. It's always the same group of dudes, pretty good, or mostly the same group of dudes, pretty good dudes, and they have a lot. I said dudes a whole lot just now. I don't know why, but anyway, had a lot of cool stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff you've seen before. A lot of things came from the very last Kickstarter. Had some new heads in different variety. Now there's a whole bunch more African-American heads, Asian and Hispanic. I shouldn't say slash, but Asian and Hispanic heads. There's the one, that shady Lawrence Taylor looking head that we were making fun of at the last show. We had made an appearance again. A couple new, well, they're not exactly new, but I think they're, for a time, some of these weren't available, and now they are. So I dig those. ODC picked up this set right here. I should have done the same thing. I've kind of created the looks that I want, but I think what I'm going to start doing is collecting Marauders stuff for future looks, you know what I mean? For future characters, you know, maybe even just for troops. And maybe next time that's what you're going to see at, you know, my coverage at this convention. Try to get a whole bunch of female troops made. But yeah, Marauders, they're always dope.
Watch out. Watch out, say excuse me.
Hey, where's Daddy go?
All right, so we are getting ready to head out. Go back to the car and look at what we managed to get. I got some hard to find stuff, but excuse us. I'm a little tired, and I'm like, and so is little Strident, because yesterday we did not sleep very well. So it's time to go to sleep. What's up, guys? Huh?
What do you mean yesterday we didn't sleep very well?
I didn't sleep very well. And then you had me waking up extra early this morning. I went to sleep at 3 a.m. and woke up at 7 with you. Remember?
Yeah.
Done well. Yeah.
Uncle Anthony got all that sleep.
Yeah, your uncle got to sleep more than I did. Oh, look at this, Nico. That's the Optimus that turns into a jet. He also turns into a like an oil rig.
So of course they had comics. So yeah, this was the tail end. I just walked through and looked at some cool things that caught my attention, and then yeah, that was that. I really dug seeing a lot of the stuff. It's like this time it was more of a spectacle. Some Power Rangers Zeo stuff, or Old Ranger in Japan. And it's not a bad price for it either. I just wasn't really in the market for that right now. But yeah, it was a good, a nice, good turnout, and it was nice walking through. And yeah, we're on our way out, and we're gonna jump in the car and talk about a few things before we get home and do another little video for you guys.
So we're here, and we finished our shopping at the Columbus Toy Expo, and now we're getting ready to go back home. I finished ODC still shopping. I had a smaller list this year because I have pretty much all the Joes I want. I don't have the you know, the bug like I had once before, where I was trying to get all these different guys and I had to keep on getting stuff. I have like just about everybody I wanted, period. There's a few, you know, odds and ends that I want so I can complete little fire teams and stuff, but my Joe collection is good. And I'm also looking for like little pieces of what?
It's just candy.
Okay, eat it. I'm looking for that's little Strident, sorry. I'm looking for parts for some of my vehicles, like the Defiant and stuff, and I'm almost at the point where I'm just gonna be like, you know, that is the Defiant, it is what it is, I'm just gonna leave it alone, you know. But it was fun. I didn't see as much stuff. I mostly got a bunch of Marvel Legends movie stuff. Were you sloppy again?
No.
Because I hear candy falling.
I opened it and like it
You
just
opened it very
exploded.
sloppily, man. You got to be careful. Don't you want to eat that candy?
Yeah.
So you got to be careful, because if you open it sloppy, you're going to end up losing all the candy, and you don't want to lose it. Words of wisdom by Papa Strident. But anyway, we are going to head back to the man cave and find out how we fared with the things that we picked up, and well, the things I picked up. Little Strident got a Maui hook finally. He wasn't supposed to get anything, but because we had just got him stuff before, and today, you know, this week was my birthday, so this is kind of part of my present for myself. So anyway, we're gonna head back, and I will take pictures and, you know, probably start putting stuff up so you guys can see what we were doing. And welcome to my I guess my spoils video. I refuse to call it a haul video, even though that's what it is. I just hate the term. I feel like I'm showing off to people who don't have what I have. So I'm gonna keep it a little bit more, I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm overthinking things, but this is what I picked up and got around the time of the toy show out here. Like I said, it was mostly stuff that I was having trouble finding in the local, you know, my Walmarts, my Targets. You know, Toys R Us is gone now, so I couldn't find it there. So I looked at the toy show. This dude here is courtesy of ODC Datsme, the Silver Surfer from the Walgreens exclusive Silver Surfer. He said that in New York, but in Buffalo, he had a whole bunch of, you know, they were all over the place. Whereas over here where I'm at, we haven't seen them at all. And I go to Walgreens every 2 weeks roughly. There's some stuff that, you know, the supplements, vitamin supplements and such that I get there, and because of their cool, their reward system or whatever, reward card and all that good stuff, I tend to go there because my points actually add up. So yeah, props Tim for that. Then I got these two from freaking from the toy show, and him, and him, and him, and he came just on that time right before the show started. For whatever reason, I've never seen this motherfucker in the fucking toy store at all, anywhere. So, or these two. So I figured I had to pick these guys up. Bishop, from what I learned, is hard to find. Him and Omega Red, right? That's what you said?
Yep.
Yeah, those two are hard to find. So I had to pick him up. I'm going to be getting Omega Red sometime the next couple weeks or so. And this version of Wheeljack, this is from Transformers Prime. I'd been wanting him for a long time because I had the Combiner Wars version, because I'd never had Wheeljack, and the Combiner Wars version sucks ass through a straw and came back for seconds, and this one is so much better. I mean, even his alt mode, it's such a more complex design, and it's just more fun to transform him. But like, look at that shit, man. The design is just dope. Like, the way he stands, and you know, he's got swords that he fights with, and the swords actually stow away on the vehicle mode really well on the underside. They don't stop it from driving, which is pretty dope. This is Felonious. This is one of the Boss Fight Studios Vitruvian hacks, and he is their wandering mage figure. And I had been wanting him because I picked up the Knight, and I started to kind of get into the idea of having a party, like in a, you know, RPG or something. And he just looks dope, you know, for a mage. I used to play Shadow over Mystera, the old arcade Dungeons and Dragons game, and I dug the magic user design in that, and this kind of reminds me of it, even though he's green and brown instead of purple. But it's an awesome design. Comes with all kinds of extra shit, and I'll be reviewing these guys. I think I'll review all of these separate. I just wanted to give you guys a look at what I managed to find around the time of and at the actual toy show. So now that I've shown you my stuff, we'll let ODC show you his stuff.
What's up, everybody? ODC here. I know, I'm on not my channel, but I'm here with you. This is pretty much my haul here from the Columbus Toy Show. Had a great time. I stayed as late as I possibly could at this show. It was a lot of fun. I definitely got a lot of check marks off the list, and actually a couple characters on here that I didn't have on my list that I was pleasantly surprised to get. For one, Batista back over here. Really excited about getting this Batista. This is the flashback series from the, what was it? I think it was Hall of Champions. This is Batista circa 2005 from WrestleMania 21. He came with a pen and a contract to sign for WrestleMania 21 when he beat Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. I got him for 15 bucks. Really, really happy about getting him for that price because there was a bunch of other vendors that had him and they were all pricing him at 30 bucks. So I was like, no, I'm not paying $30 for that figure. So I got him for $15 at another vendor. I think it was a couple rows over. So I was pretty pleased with that. A Mega Ray, I got him for regular retail, 20 bucks. So I didn't have an issue there. And the rest are, majority of them are Joe's, except for two over here in the front, which we have a Marauders figure right here. I got the Terra Ops female body. I got a couple extra heads, as you can see here, just in case. I'm probably going to turn this guy into a character. This is an extra head for a character that I'm using, probably my newest creation, which is Bedouin. He's a Arabic tracker on my Sweet 16 team. He's a good guy, and this is gonna be his alternate head, so I think that worked out really well. Some of the rest of the heads, like these two here and this guy here, they're just extra heads in case I want to use it down the line for another character. I got a Vitruvian hack. This is a barbarian named Vandar. He's pretty cool. The actual Vandar head I wasn't a huge fan of, but I might actually end up using this head for this guy over here, which might be a future custom as well. We'll get to that down the line in another one of my videos. Yeah, I got Scarlet from Rise of Cobra in her all black suit, which I wanted this particular one. There's also the camo version that I would like to get as well down the line. But I got Scarlet, so I'm pretty happy with that. And obviously you can see here I swapped the heads because the one that came with the hair down, you can't really move it. There's no range of motion there. So I went to Marauders and I picked up a red braided head, which I think works perfectly for her. And then over here we got Zartan. He is pretty much just going to be used for a an MP, which is perfect. I need him to be a guard. I just need a Joe guard for my G.I. Joe headquarters, so I needed one more of him. Got him, done. Buzzer, I never got Buzzer. He's the only, I think there's maybe one or two other Dreadnoks, like the female Dreadnoks. I have Zorana from the SDCC exclusive, but I never got Buzzer for some reason. I don't know why. So I have Buzzer now. I'm pretty happy with that. Got the Red Star and Duke 2-pack. These two guys right here. Pretty happy with the way they turned out. Obviously they have the crappy hands and the crappy bends at the elbow, which, you know, blows. But I got the 2-pack for 10 bucks, so I was pretty happy with that. I think for the most part, this 2-pack goes for around $25, so I'm happy to have got it for 10. This guy right here is actually an unreleased figure from the Jurassic Park line.
Which is weird. Didn't he show up in the new stuff?
Yeah,
Like
it's basically, is he?
Because it's pretty much Resolute Roadblock.
Yeah, it's Resolute Roadblock
with weird, what was this from the Dino Hunters line or whatever.
I don't know, did they re-release him?
I think when they started releasing figures for the Jurassic Park line,
they threw him in there?
They threw him in there.
Well, that's good, because I think this is a good body to use, especially if you're going to use a custom. Yeah, this must be the old one then. I'm kind of curious to see what the new one looks like, if it's exactly the same.
I think maybe he's got like orange on him or something.
Oh, really?
He's brighter, I think. If I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but
so then this is the version to get then.
Yeah.
Okay. I gave him Zartan's blades just because I think it's going to work with the character that I'm going to build. I got Cover Girl over here, which I'm really pleased with. This is the only Cover Girl I wanted, and the only Cover Girl I need. God, I can't talk. I found Resolute Duke for 10 bucks.
I can't believe you found him for 10 bucks.
10 bucks. He was the only Resolute dude, and actually the guy took off, like, I think it was, I purchased the 2-pack, the Red Star and Duke 2-pack, and then I got this Duke. And then what else did I get? I think I got Buzzer from him too, and he just took a whole bunch of money off. So that's why this toy show is super important to go to for us, because the vendors there they're not douche canoes. Like they'll definitely like hook you up with deals if you buy like multiple things. Like there's obviously some vendors that were there that were like way overpriced. Like one guy had like all of the JoeCon exclusives, all of these FSS exclusives, and some were decently priced, but I just didn't want to spend $25 to $30 on an exclusive.
At a show, they should be trying to give us deals.
Yeah.
Make sure you get rid of that shit.
There was Repulsor there, but he wanted like $80, which if you actually compare him to, it was still high and I didn't pay for it, but if you do compare him to the eBay prices, Repulsor's going for $100 or more, which is fucking stupid.
No
but
Joe is worth that.
No Joe is worth $100, I'm sorry. So I passed on that, but I got these other two Duke bodies right here. I think I'm going to use them for customs too. They're going to be kind of custom fodder, but I only got them for $5 each, so that was no big deal. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The Hacks figure, I think, is, I don't know, between him, yeah, I think the Hacks figure is probably my favorite pickup that I got for the weekend. So yeah, and he looks awesome. Like I said, he comes with an extra head. He comes with 2 helmets. Comes with this sword right here. If I don't knock him over. Comes with this sword. Comes with an axe. He comes with a mace, and you can actually attach the mace to the axe and make like a double-sided staff, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, I think he's my favorite that I picked up this weekend, which was surprising because I wasn't actually expecting to get a hack, but I saw him, he looked good. This does use some of the body parts from the orcs that they have, but it's just painted differently, obviously. But I think it works with the character, him being a barbarian. But yeah, pretty happy with the pickups. I don't really think there's anything left to say about them. Omega Red's pretty cool. I wish that there was some more paint detail. Strident actually pointed this out when I unboxed him. He's kind of plain. I mean, he looks good. He looks the part, but a little bit more paint shading throughout the legs. Maybe a little bit on the arms, the white arms too. Would have went a little bit further. I also would have liked it if his Omega symbol was painted white. That would have stood out a little bit better, I think, as far as that goes. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, I got him for regular retail, which was $20. I think that's what he's worth. Batista, pretty happy about him. He looks good. He looks the part. Definitely looks like circa 2005 Batista. And yeah, pretty happy with everything else. And there's definitely a lot of other accessories that throughout that I got. That I'm probably going to use for other characters, except for this Resolute Duke. I'm probably going to leave him alone, and this Buzzer, I'm probably going to leave him alone. But she also came with some extra stuff too, and there's one more figure that I wanted to show you guys before I let you go, and that is actually there's one specific Joe vendor that I go to, and that's where I got Scarlet, I got Zartan, I got this Jurassic Park guy right here, and I got CoverGirl from. And I go to him like every year, and I was just like, I'm surprised you don't remember me every year. And he's like, oh no, I know you and your friend come here all the time. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool that I'm like building a rapport with someone every year that I go to. So he was like, yeah, man, if you buy like a couple things, like I'll just throw in something for free. And I was like, oh, okay, word. And I know I'm not a big vintage guy. You all know that. But I mean, for a free figure, this was pretty cool. And I'm trying to put him together as I segue into showing you him. But he had a whole wall full of like vintage Joes, and I was like, I don't really want any vintage Joes, but free figure is free figure. So I ended up picking up the 1989 version of Repeater, which I think is pretty cool. I really dig the 2-piece Steadicam gun that actually clips into his belt. I love the backpack. He came complete. All the joints are nice and stiff on him. No wobbling or anything like that, so I don't have to worry about him kind of like falling apart or disintegrating or anything like that. So, so I did pick up one vintage Joe with this haul, but I'm pretty pleased with it. I think it looks good. For 1989, that's pretty decently done figure. I like that they even drew in a weight to kind of work with the Steadicam gun, because I mean, you gotta kind of have like a counterbalance weight when you're working with a Steadicam gun. So I think it's nice little touches. Obviously, you know, like I said, I'm not a big, I don't like really collect. I don't really actually have that many vintage figures, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm really happy with this haul. Pretty pleased with it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'll see you guys on the flip side.
Okay, so I had wanted to do a little discussion piece since we went to a expo, a collector's expo. I want to do a piece where we talk about the end goal to your collecting, to your collection. Like what happens when you get to that point where you kind of feel like you're essentially pruning. You just like, you know, upkeep, fill holes, or you know, I don't know, sell off what you don't need, and then, you know, kind of focus on the stuff that you actually like. And if you collect with a goal in mind, because so many people that I see online on different, you know, groups, they tend to just keep getting shit and keep getting shit and keep getting shit and keep getting shit with no end in sight, because it's like, as long as they keep making shit, I'm gonna keep buying it. And it feels, I don't know, that's not a realistic thing. As an adult, it doesn't seem realistic. I mean, granted, if you have the money and that's how you want to live your life, hey, whatever. I'm not telling you how to do what you do, but I think for some of us more conscious, you know, responsible collectors, there should be a point in mind. So, like, I picture what I want my collection to look like. So, like, whatever it is I'm collecting, I have an idea in my head what I want my end result to look like. And it's weird because remember when we were kids and you get like G.I. Joe or you get Cops or whatever, they used to always come with like checklists where they would show like a little catalog type deal where it would show the figures and you would be checking them off as you get the ones that you like, you know? I guess that's stuck in my mind. So when I collect, I have an idea. Be it I want to have, you know, 5 fire teams, which would be smaller teams of 4 for the non-military types. If I want 5 fire teams and a handful of vehicles for them to use, air, land, sea, and then, you know, maybe covert versions of those same vehicles, then, you know, there's the goal. When I have all that, I'm done. Now I move on to the next thing. You know, for the bad guys, I want, you know, X, Y, Z, and whatever, and you know, and that's what I collect to. And then once I hit that, I move on. So, I mean, is it something that you do with yours?
Definitely with G.I. Joe, I have an end goal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not done with it, but I'm nearing towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there's a few like vehicles, like grails that I want.
Mm-hmm.
That I, you know, we discussed this before, but
yeah.
As far as you know, troop building is always like I've said before in the past. Troop building's always been last on my list. To get key players is the most important part.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I have the 25th anniversary Flint, but my end goal is to get the Resolute Flint. Because that's the Flint to me.
Yeah, that's dope. That's my favorite one.
That's my go-to Flint, and I don't have it, so that's, you know, that's on the list. But when I get the pieces that are missing, you know, I you know, it's pretty much like that. Like I want to split at the end of the day. I have them split up into teams. Like the Rise of Cobra BDUs have their own team. The a lot of the Pursuit of Cobra, I split those the Pursuit of Cobra Joes up into little individual teams, so they kind of flow with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
They were kind of designed that way because you have your City Strike dudes, and then you have your Arctic Strike or Arctic Mission dudes,
desert,
and
jungle, and I think that works well. I think that's why another major component as to why I love Pursuit of Cobra so much. Yeah, I have that kind of set up that same way. I would say within probably the next 2 to 3 years, I'll probably be settled up with G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just, you know, I'll be creating my own thing. That's what I want to start focusing more on, is creating my own content as opposed to like just collecting someone else's content.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Collecting G.I. Joe has been great and awesome over the years, but at the end of the day, now it's like evolving into with Marauders and hacks and stuff like that, where you can create your own characters, and I feel like that's the next evolution. That's the next step.
Yeah.
It's because we're not getting any of that, especially when only speaking about G.I. Joe. We're not getting any new characters, and the new characters we do get, we have to create our own stories for anyway.
Yeah.
Hence Shadow Tracker. You know what I mean? Like you're creating your own story with Shadow Tracker, and like I have my own ideas for him too. So even Tombstone doesn't have much of anything really.
I hate that toy.
I feel like if he wasn't so bland.
Yeah, he's just a bland design.
He's just bland. So I use the head on a different body. I don't
evil Bill Cosby.
Yeah, the pudding.
Put you under the ground, motherfucker.
But that's where I've come to with only speaking about G.I. Joe. Speaking about the whole collection, though, like.
Does it apply to each collection? Like not each collection, but each.
I think different rules apply to different parts of my collection. Like, because I had a goal for Batman, it's done. You know what I mean? It was a shorter goal because how many fucking Batman toys do I need at the end of the day?
And we all have so many.
Yeah, I have so many. I don't really need any more. Like, there's the Sovereign Knight one that looks great.
Yes.
But there's a method behind that madness, I guess, if you want to call it. Because I have the Dark Knight Returns one.
Yeah.
I have the movie one.
Yep.
And now I want an updated comic-looking Batman. So that's
The
Sovereign Knight
Knight's
fits
gonna be
right in there. That's all I need. I'm done with Mezco as far as Batman goes.
Man, I was done with Mezco in general until Blade showed up.
Yeah, Blade
and Sovereign Knight. I was like, I have to get them. I have to.
Yeah, those are two I'll splurge on because especially Blade, it's few and far between we get a Blade figure.
A good one. Good God.
Look how long it took Marvel Legends to give us a half-assed version of Blade that we should have. You know,
to me, they haven't done a good one since the first movie.
Yes.
Because that second one.
Yeah.
Ooh, he couldn't even stand up on his own. I mean, he looks cool when you have him like on the bike or something, just off to the in the cut. But like his coat was made out of real cheap leather.
Yeah.
The shit mine fell apart. It just flaked and fell off.
That's what happened with the Punisher figures.
It was the same. Yeah, a lot of the same.
Essentially
parts.
the same coat with different things attached to it. But yeah, I mean, I have different end goals for different parts of my collection.
I just mean like when I say end goal
with Transformers, I only need an Ironhide.
That's
the Ironhide that I want is ridiculously priced. Yeah.
Oh, you want the Masterpiece one?
Yeah.
There's.
But I don't even know if I want the Masterpiece one because those I hear are shit. Like you can't really transform them.
Well, they're complicated sometimes, the transformation. But no, I'll show you some of the other ones. There's actually a new one about to come out that
a third party
really good.
Ironhide is what I want.
I
don't want the Masterpiece.
Yeah, there's a Hasbro one that's about to drop from their Siege line. Shit, it's gonna be dope.
But yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's just different goals for each collection. Like, with Ninja Turtles, like I just want my original 4 again, and I'm good.
Yeah.
I got my original 4. I've got the NECA ones on pre-order.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I'd want.
Yeah.
That and maybe
gonna be like $24.99.
Yeah, like that's fine. And then if I get that, because that looks like more of like a modern version of him.
Yeah.
And then I get like
because no one drives that shit that
like,
he used to turn into, that fucking kidnapping van.
Hey, you leave my Breakmobile alone, okay? It just didn't fit the character because he's like an enforcer for Prime. He's like Prime's bodyguard, and it's like he's in a van.
He's his weapons specialist.
Yeah, exactly. So he's in a van.
But it makes sense for
down by the river.
No, it makes sense for the overall theme. It's robots in disguise. They can be anything.
But I feel like he should have been like.
No, and remember too, like most of the Autobots were supposed to not be overt weapons of war.
True, but did he have to choose the van?
You never suspected he'd turn into something that would bust your shit.
I guess.
Like once he turns into his robot mode, you'd be like, "Fuck, that was a fucking raping van."
A raping van.
Like what the hell? You know what I mean?
The police might target it. Like, oh, I don't know what this van.
I know what is this?
It's the Bang Bus van.
The party bus. That's
Big
wrong.
bus fan. But yeah, I just want Ironhide, and then I'm good. Turtles, I want the OG, all 4 turtles. Like I have all the Donatellos. That was like my beginning goal because he's my favorite. So I'd always go after my favorites and then fill out the collection. Now I'm starting to have time to fill out the rest. So I'm going after the OG ones, the 2003 ones, and I have the NECA ones from the movie. That's all I need. I don't need any more turtles after that. Yeah. I might get the knockoff ones that you have. Or no, you have the real ones.
Those are the real ones.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the knockoffs of the versions.
Oh yeah, I heard that they're better quality than the originals.
Yeah, with all the red bandanas
yeah, I've heard all kinds of really good things about them. Like most people haven't had anything.
And they're $40 for all 4, so it's not like I'm breaking the bank for those. So
yeah. But so when you say different goals, for each thing, I'm saying like, do you see a specific, like in your mind, do you see
finish line?
Yeah, like this is what when I'm done, I want to see my shelf with these things on it.
Sure.
And then when I see it, I'm done.
Yeah. But I do it, you know what, like
for each different thing, like for your turtles, you see the ones you want, you know what you want to see on the shelf, and then when you hit it, you move on to the next. They have their own shelf,
and they're I don't want to say maybe about halfway there as far as the collection being done. Once that's done, I don't need to get anything else.
Yeah.
I don't need to get the van. I don't need to get the sewer. I had the sewer when I was a kid. I enjoyed it. It was great. I don't need it to take all that space up.
Yeah.
I just want a small set up for my turtles. I don't need everything that was ever created.
Yep. So what about for like, because you know I've been talking about Marvel Legends. Yeah. So I'm gonna bring this up again. This is our second time doing this. The first time my fucking program wanted to be like, no,
this might be the better version now.
I know, right? That's true. That happens sometimes. So like, you know, I'm getting rid of comic book Marvel Legends to make way for the movie Marvel Legends because I've always liked the movie ones better. I'm looking at my collection and I see I have tons of movie shit, and I have only like a handful of cherry-picked like favorite characters that I have a bunch of comic book ones for. So I figured instead of wasting the money and the space, just having shitloads of all these these random comic book characters, get rid of them and get the ones I really want.
Yeah.
So my whole Marvel Legends collection is an MCU slant. It's all Marvel Cinematic Universe, mostly, except for like X-Men and Cap, because I love Cap, and Thor. I love Thor, so I have a ton of different Thors. And then there's a couple other characters like Star-Lord, Drax, and Spider-Man, of course. I know you don't like Spider-Man like that.
I have 2 Spider-Man figures. The rest I'm going to sell.
Yeah.
I have the young-looking Spider-Man with the alternate head, and I have pizza eating Spider-Man. That's good enough.
Yeah. I broke mine down. I have I love the movie suits, so I have a bunch of the movie.
Oh,
ones.
And Miles Morales. I'll keep him.
Yeah.
You gotta have him.
So yeah, my comic book ones, I have Miles. I have the younger Spider-Man, and I have Miles, and I have I use my Amazing Spider-Man 2 Spider-Man from Hasbro as my comic book one because he looks like a comic book Spider-Man.
Sure.
And then all the rest of them are movie. Yeah. Every last one of them. And that's the way it is because I love movie shit. But
I got to keep the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Marvel. That's like
it's a good one.
That's one where you can actually do all the things that he needs to do.
You can split. He can squat down and stoop on shit and
you can still use him for comics too. I feel like it's still a movie figure that you can use within comics.
You can do both, But like I realized when I was moving stuff around and I'm looking at the figures and I realized which ones I really like and why I like them and which ones spent most of their time in a container. So I'm like, if they stay in the container, then I don't need them because I never think about putting them out.
Sure.
May as well get rid of them, you know? So I always have like an end goal in mind. And now, like when we went to the toy show, this time it was super easy to go and get footage because I wasn't thinking about like, I gotta get this, I gotta get this, I gotta get this. I knew exactly what I wanted to get. And I was even under budget.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, you know, like the last, 3 times we went, I was like over budget because I kept seeing things that I still wanted. I'm like, oh shit, I'm never gonna see this, or maybe I'll see it, but it'll be a long time from now. So let me hurry up and get it, you know. And I'm hunting and I'm hungry and I'm trying to, you know, I just want everything, you know. And then I finally was like, you know, I got to chill out, think about what it is I want to do, what I want the end result to look like, work towards that, and then when I'm done, move on, you know. My Transformers collection is like that, where I have the G1 guys that I like to be my own little crew of the arc. And then I have my Decepticons, which I need more of because I have mostly Megatron, which one day it just turned out that I have a shitload of Megatron. And he's kind of my favorite Decepticon, but I needed more of the other guys, you know. And then I have the G1, so I want the G1 guys, and I know which ones I want for both sides. And then I want the G2 guys, and I have a lot of the good guys. I need to get more of the G2 bad guys, but once I hit that, I'm done with Transformers.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like I need to get all of them. And I keep seeing it where, like, they keep releasing new shit, and then the fan base is like, oh my god, that last one was my favorite. And then the next one comes out. Now that's my favorite. And then the next one. And then that's my favorite. And it's like, come on. You got to find some place where you draw the line and you're done. Or constantly sell the previous thing and get the next one. I mean, if you don't, you don't. But I think it would make sense because it'd be really difficult to constantly update every single time they offer a new thing. Personally, I've gotten tired of doing that. Like, how many Captain Americas have they released from films that were technically the same figure repainted in the Marvel Legends line?
A lot.
And I like movie Cap. They've done it at least 4 times, you know? And they're all varying degrees of quality when it comes to... Like, look at the one for Infinity War. That head sculpt is shit.
The head sculpt is god-awful.
It's so bad, people are willing to pay $20 for a head sculpt from
that's
overseas.
something I would do.
Yeah, to get it to look like Chris Evans, because the body and everything else is proper. So, you know, I'm not going to buy every single thing that's released. It's unrealistic, you know. I'm just going to get the things I like and focus on that. But I have started to focus more on trimming the fat on my collection so that things I don't ever play with, shit I don't ever look at, I'm selling it. You know, and then I can spend that money on shit I actually want to look at and interact with on a regular basis. And, you know, I had said it before in other videos, like, if you walk past a shelf with your dudes on it, your figures, and you don't feel like doing anything with them, you don't want to move them, you don't want to play with them, you don't want to pose them, nothing, it's probably not that great of a figure. You really didn't, you know, if it's not grabbing you in any kind of way, you probably don't really...
And don't feel bad about selling something off, like you're missing out on something, because you're not at the end of the day.
Especially if
you just got to be able to, at the end of the day, appreciate what you have.
Yeah, well, especially if you're trying to update with another version of the same thing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because then it's like, hey, if you think that other thing is better, then it's worth it for you to sell the previous thing. You know what I mean? So
and B, don't feel like you're something you're trying to sell that you don't like anymore. Don't feel like it won't be able to sell, because there's tons of completists out there that will buy that shit up.
That's true.
So, yeah, don't get discouraged with things like that. There's always going to be someone out there that wants something that you don't. You know, like one man's garbage is another man's treasure. So that's just the way the world works. With Marvel Legends, though, I'm just the opposite. You know, you do the MCU stuff. I'm trying to. I think I might be getting rid of a lot of my MCU stuff unless it's like a Build-A-Figure that hasn't had a version of that person yet.
Well, there's like villains.
Like Black Dwarf. I'm obviously going to keep that around. And he's an awesome Build-A-Figure.
Plus, they never made a comic book version.
Exactly. So they never. It fills the void.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like that with most of the villains, because there's so many villains that you will not see in fucking MCU films.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think they'll get around to a lot of them.
No. Especially if there's already 1 or 2 versions made already.
Or like if there's a character that fits the same role. You know, like we were talking about Mercs, like how they killed off Crossbones because we've already seen Bucky, and then you have other characters that do the same shit. How many times are you going to have a Merc try to Merc somebody?
Yeah.
And then you make a figure of him, and it's just a guy running around with a machine gun in his hands. It's like, you know, you got to pick the most interesting ones, and that's who you focus on. So, you know, I get that part. But yeah, I'm not completely against comic book Marvel Legends. It's just I realized that, like, the characters I really dig, if they have a comic book figure, I have it. And
well,
then
the movie figures
ones,
are more. They have more budget, so
better
they get
figures,
more
yeah.
love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the tooling is better, the sculpt is better. You know what I mean? Overall, I would say besides not having butterfly joints,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that they're missing.
That's true. Unless you're Spider-Man.
Unless you're Spider-Man, then you get it.
Um,
But you know, I'm just, and it's fine. Like I can appreciate how well done the movie figures are. But I mean, when I started my Marvel Legends collection, it had nothing to do with movie figures. It always had to do with the comic book ones. That's what attracted me. So I have to stay on target and just continue that. And I don't plan on getting every single comic book character that pops up. There's a lot that I don't. There's a lot of comic book characters I don't know that pop up, and I'm like, why
they did this?
Why did they do this? Why is this more important?
Like, how did
like
Cobra Khan, I think his name is?
like we were talking about today, like the
Richter.
the Richter or the rest of X-Force or
Yeah.
Feral or Cannonball. Like why are we getting a living laser over that?
Or how did we get Cobra Khan before we got like Night Thrasher? Like they haven't done one Night Thrasher.
Corticon.
Corticon. Yeah, how the hell? Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand that. So yeah, it's weird like that.
So I have specific targets that I go after. You know, the ones that I want. Like X-Men are obviously like we're both on the same page there. That's top priority as far as I'm concerned. When we're talking about the anything 90s X-Men.
Yeah. So is there a point like? Do you have parts of your collection where you hit that spot where you feel like you reached the goal, and then you're just like, well, you said Batman.
Yeah, I've reached the goal. Like after December, the goal's done. I have a 1/6 scale Batman that I love.
You have a 1/6 scale Batmobile?
No, I don't need that shit.
You don't want it? Yeah.
That's fucking. That'd be like $1,000.
Oh, 1/6. No,
1/6
I mean,
scale,
I'm
not
sorry,
1/12
1/12 scale. My bad.
Yeah, I have the animated one. That's good enough. I love that animated one. I mean, I have every Batman that I need. I don't need any more anything else as far as that goes.
Yeah.
There's still some Batman villains. Like I would like to have every version of Clayface. He's one of my favorite villains. I'd say top tier villain as far as I'm concerned.
There's only a few to get.
Yeah. I only really need the animated series Clayface, and then I'm done. Or the Build-A-Figure.
And the Build-A-Figure, the new
That's
one.
It. Yeah, the Collecting Connect or whatever. I don't need another DC figure. I have. I'm only missing maybe 10 DCUC figures, and then I have the entire collection.
Yeah.
So I might end up going back to that and trying to track that down. Trying to track that down and get those 10 figures, and I'm done. But you know, there was a goal with DCUCs. I haven't bought a DCUC in like 3 years.
Shit, because they're fucking gone. Like, and they're not really. When they did the signature series, they dropped the fucking ball.
Yeah, they did. They gave us characters that we didn't necessarily ask for.
It's kind of like what DCUC is doing now.
Yeah.
It's like they keep doing the same 7 or 8 figures over and over and over in different scales, different kind of decos, and it's like, can we branch back out?
And we're finally getting the proper Red Hood. Look how long it took.
Took a long time.
Like
actually, there's
mid-
a couple of them
because the line started.
Hiya Toys is making a small one.
A small one, yeah. That's another character I will probably try to regain goals with.
Yeah. What about so DCUC, DC Universe figures in general?
6-inch DC.
Pretty much have them. You have.
They're pretty good. I'm happy with having a lot of one versions of it. Like I only have one Joker. It's the DCUC Joker. It's good enough for me. I'm done.
What, you didn't get the Mad Love pack?
Oh, I do have that.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I think I have 2 or 3. I have the pre-DCUC Joker, I have the DCUC Joker, and then I have the Mad Love 2-pack.
Yeah.
And then I have the Arkham.
Oh, I have the Arkham
City
one, but I'm probably gonna sell that. But yeah, I don't have like an abundance of the same character. Like, kudos to the people that only buy for one character. Like, I wish it was that easy for me.
Well, it just feels like if you have a, I don't know. I play with my figures, so Batman can't go out and fight
Batman.
a billion other Batmans. It's got to be other villains, you know. And you can't only fight the Joker. I did that as a child when I had only one Joker because that's all Mom and Dad were willing to get at the time, you know.
Well, even as like G.I. Joe collectors, like they only collect G.I. Joe, and I'm just like, I wish it was that simple. Sometimes
Oh, I mean, we like a lot.
I
of
would
stuff.
be done.
Yeah,
I would have been done years ago,
me too.
as far
Me
as
too.
that's concerned, because all of my focus would have been on G.I. Joe a long time ago. But you know, I'm getting close to finishing like a lot of my collections, which is kind of a relief. I'll be honest with you. At the end of the day, I just want to be able to like,
Go and
you know,
play with them.
take a day off or enjoy my weekend and
Mhm.
go into my collection room and just kind of play around with my toys and
Yeah, call it. a day, you know.
just appreciate everything. You know.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I feel. Do you think you'll reach your goal for your whole collection anytime soon?
I would say probably the next 10 years. Yeah.
Jesus, that long?
Sure.
10 years.
Sure.
Wow.
With getting rid of things, with setting things up, like that's the other thing. Like, I have plans for my like collection room and stuff like that's going to take time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that takes away time for me hunting because if I don't have the room, I'm not going to go hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, things take time. I'm sure within the next 10 years I'll be done with my collection.
That was a good estimate. It's a lot of time. It gives you a lot of time to figure it out. I feel like I might be done. I might be done with most of the collections of my collection by then. Maybe. I'm trying to think of what else I'm really looking for. It's like Motu shit I haven't finished. Like that I've always wanted that I just haven't even remotely
That's
gotten.
another line where I only have very selective
Mhm.
few.
That's how
And
I
it's
am.
the ones that are affordable.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even ones that like.
I got lucky, man, because I just got into it early. But yeah, it's oh shit, that's another rabbit hole. Good God,
It is, and that's what I don't want to get caught up in.
Yeah.
Another rabbit hole. You know?
Jesus. I'm trying to think of what collections, what figures I'm still. Oh, Predators.
Yeah, Predators.
Alien.
See, NECA is where might be like something that I continue because NECA seems to constantly be evolving,
Yeah, yeah.
and the licensing constantly keeps getting a new door opened up.
Yeah.
Like I never thought we would get a Ripley figure because
Me neither. Let alone 5 of them.
yeah,
I think there's 5 different ones or 6 different ones so far.
because she's not about guns, man. She doesn't like guns and shit, and like I don't know. I didn't think that was gonna happen. But we got it, and
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of like other characters that I'd like to get that we haven't got. Like I'd love a NECA Blade,
What? Yeah.
a
holy
movie,
shit.
a movie Blade,
I hope they do both.
a movie Punisher,
I want them to do. I still want to.
Ray
going back
Stevenson
to Ray
Punisher
Stevenson
in
Punisher.
NECA form. Could you imagine that? Oh my god!
That'd be perfect.
Oh,
Even if they did a Thomas Jane, their Thomas Jane Punisher
Sure.
would be perfect.
oh yeah,
That'd be
absolutely.
I'm trying to think of other things that NECA would do well because NECA is kind of like that
It's
sleeper company.
and if
you
that's
know?
like the only thing that's left on that's
Yeah,
an open
yeah.
door for me,
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
if
me
that's
too.
the one thing.
Yeah, I'm same way. I'm the same way. Like I'm waiting for Apone to come out.
Yeah, I want the rest of that. I want that whole Predator
The Kenner.
team.
I want the Kenner Apone. Remember that?
Yeah,
It was
that one's awesome with the where it says like bugs or what was
no
it?
bugs. or
No
something.
bugs.
Yeah, I can't wait for that shit. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm just trying to think of what else. I don't collect 1/6 scale figures anymore. I used to be big into. I could have probably filled a chunk of this room with them, and then I got tired. I was like,
It's too
fucking-
much.
It's too expensive. They're too big. You got to upkeep the clothes.
Yeah,
I was like, nah.
it's too difficult to do.
Mm.
If you don't have a fucking detolf,
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
to keep the dust out and shit.
yeah, it's
Yeah. Mm-mm.
it's
I
not
used
worth it. It's really not.
I used to
made the
customize
mistake
them
of
for
like
people.
jumping into that rabbit hole,
Yeah.
and I was like, nope, got to get out. Sold them all.
Yep.
I
Yep.
sold the majority of them. Like
Yeah.
I have 2 Luke Skywalker or 3. No, I have 3. 3
Uh-huh.
Luke Skywalkers.
So Luke's like one of your favorite characters.
Yeah,
That makes
exactly.
sense.
Luke is like, yeah.
I want NECA to make Batman Returns Batman with the plate armor.
Sure.
I don't know why they didn't do that.
I want a NECA Catwoman
That'd be cool
from
too.
Batman Returns.
That'd be
'Cause
awesome.
I like still have a crush on Michelle Pfeiffer.
she is cute. She's still cute.
Yep.
She's just like I didn't have like super crush because she was so skinny. Like, she's so little. She's petite.
Not when you're 14.
That's true. When you're smaller, she's like a lot of woman, you know. But yeah. There's certain things, like if it gets down to one thing, that would be awesome, and you wouldn't feel bad. Do you feel bad when that happens? Like, do you feel like it would be, I don't know. Like, do you feel like the thrill is gone?
The thrill's gone.
The thrill's gone once you reach the end of your goal. When you hit that goal.
I think it'll depend on my state of mind at the time. You know what I mean? Like, because I mean, opinions change, mindsets change, but at the end of the day, I'll be able to, like I said, appreciate what I have, and realize how much fun, and like I met you through collecting. I met Rob and all of them through collecting. Like that wouldn't have happened if I didn't have collecting.
So congrats to Olivia.
Yeah, she's got married.
Yeah. I called that shit. I called it at your wedding.
Whoa, who's next?
I was like, you guys are next, aren't you? And they were looking at, like, me and my wife were laughing, and we're like, yep, you guys are next. And Todd was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm like, dude, don't fake the funk. We can tell. Come on now. But yeah, congrats to them. But yeah, I don't think I'd be defeated. I know, like, I hear when you bring that up, when you bring this up to a lot of people. I'd be proud. Yeah, for me, like this, when I was a kid, there's no fucking way I would imagine at some point I would have what I have now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, the goal was to have, like, a museum kind of aspect to my space as well as a studio so I can do my art. So having been able to set that up and be in here all the time with my sons and shit, and, like, also there's the piece where I'm collecting figures. I have old figures that I kept, so that when he gets old enough, I can just give them to him, and then he can appreciate them.
Sure.
So,
it's also a sense of creativity, keeping creativity flowing. Like, I can look at, like, a display that I have, and I'm just like, think of something else creative, not based off of that necessarily.
No, it inspires.
But it inspires you to do other creative things just by looking at something.
That's why I have this shit. I couldn't not have it. I mean, all the art on the walls. You know, when I sit down to draw, or say I'm doing freelance shit, and I sit down to do something, I have to stay inspired so I can finish. Because if I'm not inspired, the work is going to suck.
Yep.
Or at least it'll suck to me. Because a lot of times, I can do the technical shit with no passion, but I don't want to do it with no passion. I want it to have the passion, and when I look around, I see all the shit I love, and it helps keep that passion flowing. So the figures being in the room with all of, my art and all that stuff, it helps, fuel the passion so I don't lose it. So yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, if tomorrow I hit my goal and I was done, I'd still have this shit, so I'd still be playing with it. I'd still be looking at it, so I'd be cool. It wouldn't feel like I was defeated. I've just noticed that when I bring this kind of thing up to people, like, what's the goal? What are you trying to achieve with your collection? People act like it's a fucking kiss of death or something. It's
like you have it forever.
But yeah, like for now that you stopped, all the other shit goes away.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, no. You achieved all this. You managed to amass what was probably several thousands, of dollars worth of action figures that you have. Each one has a little story.
Sure.
You love each one in some different kind of way or whatever, or carries some kind of inspiration. I mean, that's a good thing.
If I didn't start collecting DCUCs, I probably would never started a channel.
Yeah.
That's what started my channel, really. My first review was the black and gray...
the S3 sculpt Batman.
The S3 sculpt Batman. The go-to Batman. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. My second review was a G.I. Joe. It was Low Light. And that's what pretty much started...
The classic one?
No, it was the Marauders one.
Oh, okay.
The one that I got you.
Okay, yeah.
That's what started my channel, was pretty much DCUC and, like, a sprinkled in here and there G.I. Joe. It was mostly DCUC, though, that I was, like, head over heels for.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's, like, that was, God, I can't believe that was, like, over 6 years ago. That's crazy.
It was a long time ago, man. It's weird, man, because I think about how long we've been doing this shit, and it's like, wow. There's a lot of things we managed to find, a lot of collections we were talking about back then, and we finished, we moved on. Because, like I said, I asked this question because I remember when you were still in the process of getting DCUCs, and you had a checklist for which ones you wanted and how much of the collection you wanted. And you wanted most of it, and you got most of it. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. Like, when I got to the point of almost having all of it, I was like, I might as well finish it. And like, it's still an ongoing thing. Like, you don't have to get it all at once. Like,
you don't even have to get all of it, but if that's your goal, you know.
But I mean, you know, if you have a goal, stick to your goals. You know.
Yeah.
Like, once I have it all, I'll be happy. That's like the one line that I want all of it.
Yeah. I was gonna say all across the board. I wouldn't say that applies, but like, if there's one you really love, like Cops, I love Cops, and I have the whole line with the exception of like 2 vehicles, which I think fucking blow, and maybe one. Is there a character? There's one character I don't have, and I chose not to get. I could get him today. I hate his design, so I was like, nope. I say no to Nightstick. He's probably the wackest thing in that whole collection. But like, yeah, I go and I look at the line, and I'm like, holy shit, this is kind of cool. Because when I was a kid, we never saw all of them in one place.
Sure.
And we were always talking about, oh, I want this one, I want this, I want this. Ha ha, brother. I got all of them. My brother was like, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get... Nah, I got them. Yeah, I got them before you did. Nah, he got out of it, actually. He was like, as he got older, he kind of... My younger brother kind of just was like, nah, I don't like figures, I like guns. I'm like, oh, okay. Whatever works for you, homie. Yeah. He likes cars and guns. Yeah,
I get the car thing, but that starts getting old.
I know, right? Yeah, it gets expensive because you can only do so much, especially when you live in the East Coast. You can only do so much.
Exactly.
So, for people who are just starting out as collectors, I think it's important to have like a clear-cut goal of what you want. Don't base your opinions, or don't base your collection or your collecting habits on the opinions of other people. I mean, do what you're going to do for you because it's your collection. A thing I hate with a passion is when I go online, I get in these groups on Facebook or whatever, and everybody, there's like those, you know, the alphas that like kind of inspire or direct everyone else to do as they do. And then you have all these followers who just, their collection looks identical to someone else's collection. Well, that's dope. I'm going to get it too. And then they get it.
Do the exact same thing.
And it's like, what do you like, though? Like,
are you just doing what, living vicariously through the other person?
Yeah. And I especially see this with, like, mint on box collectors. There's a lot of them that get the same shit that other guys get because...
I think the worst I've ever seen was the guys that collect mint on box and keep it in the case. And stack the cases on the wall.
My god, yeah, them Hasbro cases.
Awful.
And shit.
I mean, I get
Legends,
everyone's got their own shit,
yeah.
but that is just stupid.
Yeah,
I don't even care if people get pissed at me for saying that.
Yeah,
I really just don't.
Because what's the point? You're not even interacting with it. You just know you have it somewhere.
It's just I don't understand what I just don't get. You're not even looking at it. Like you never even took it out of the case it came in from Hasbro.
Yeah.
Like, what is the point of that?
That's true.
Give me, I want, like, legit reasons as to why that is a thing.
Yeah. And then they have the nerve to get on some kind of forum of some sort, you know, some group page or whatever, and try to tell you shit about that product.
Yeah.
You have no idea. You've never even interacted with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So, yeah, don't listen to everybody. You have no, like, they have no idea what connection you might have with it until you tell them. You know, you're spending your money to get something you have a connection to. Do it. Don't worry about them. Because, you know, they're going to do what they're going to do. You should do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I swear that shit bothers me. I'm like, you really got on this group to see what the community says about a thing that you like.
Yeah, my number one top priority advice would be do not do what other people do.
Yeah, do your own thing.
Do your own thing. Regardless of how you feel other people think about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. If you like fucking Superhero Squad figures, buy them.
You like Imaginext, buy them.
Yeah, like don't worry about if people are saying Imaginext suck. I hate Pops, but if you like them, get them because they make you happy.
Yeah.
Do it. I hate Pops with a passion, so I will not be buying it. But you know, because I feel like with Pops, I know this is I'm being I'm being judgmental, but Pops kind of feel like they're the most, those kinds of toys are the most corporate cash grab types. You know what I'm saying? It's one body, and they just put shit on it, and then they hike up the price as they over the life of the line, and people buy them in droves and shit. And it's like, why not just go search for the actual figure? You know, like
They don't. At the end of the day, they don't actually do anything.
yeah, they need to do something. But you know, to each their own. Once again, some folks that's what they do. Others don't. You know, others do what they do. That's not my thing. So yeah, it's extremely personal. So you need to focus on what you want to focus on, and don't worry about what everybody else is doing. You do you. That's ultimately that's it. That's what it boils down to.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I'm trying to think. I had something else I was going to say, and I totally forgot because of all the random interruptions. I hate when that shit happens. But yeah, I guess if you have a goal in mind and you work towards that goal, then you don't have to worry about all the other bullshit. You know, like you don't have to worry about, like I said, people's influence on what your goal is, because you've already come up with your goal. You're going to work towards it. You don't have to worry about not having enough money because you know what the goal is. So that's the point. You know, you kind of save your budget, or make sure you have the budget to complete your goal. Make sure you have the room. Also, super important.
I think the other thing is eventually when I do stop, like I'll probably maybe find something like I said, NECA, that I'll maybe continue, but be sporadic, because I might find something like maybe like if the Kickstarters at that point are still going, like for Mythic Legions, that might be something I put a little bit of money into, just because if I'm not really collecting anything else, I can put some money into that.
But do you have to have a collection to be working on?
No.
Is that a thing?
No.
Okay. So like what I think about is like,
because there's other things that I like to do besides just collect. Like,
yeah.
I autocross. I got back into skateboarding. So there's other things that I do with my time besides just sit at home and
play with toys.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, not necessarily knocking people who do that, but you should try to have a well-rounded life.
Yeah,
you
sure.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do a little bit more than the one thing so that you can have a full life. But no, I hear you. I feel like probably the end goal is to only have one thing that I'm actively collecting.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Because then, that way I don't have to feel like, like there's so many things coming out. Because like Marvel Legends, they kill me because so much comes out at one time, and it's too much. Like you said, like this year, there's like 8 waves dropped at once, and I get it. They want to feed the fans, but 8 waves,
that's too much.
It's way too much. And then like their distribution already sucks. So we're all hunting and we're all looking for shit for each other. You know, those of us who have like connections and shit.
Sure.
And it's just yeah. It's
I think my 2 main goals, harkening back to Marvel Legends really quick. My 2 main goals is mostly like the galactic heroes and villains.
Yeah, we need more of those.
We need more cosmic heroes and villains, and we haven't been getting a whole lot of that. And now we finally are.
Mm-hmm.
So that is feeding my need. That and X-Men are feeding my need right now. So those are my 2 top priorities as far as Marvel Legends go.
Yeah.
As far as anything else goes, I mean, it would be cool to get some like villains like what we were talking about, some like Ghost Rider villains, some more Punisher villains. Like I'd love an updated Jigsaw.
Oh yeah, we need one.
It'd be cool to get stuff like that. Like more,
we need Jigsaw. We need
we need some Blade villains. I think we need another Blade.
We need a Blade series in general.
Yeah, exactly. We need a new Blade movie is what we need.
Yeah.
I can't believe like the dude that started it hasn't gotten a new update. I don't know. It's just
supposedly in the next 2 years, Marvel has been working with him on a project.
Yeah.
He said it himself. In the next
I mean,
2
we're getting
years,
a new Spawn film. Why haven't we gotten Blade?
that's what I'm saying. They're gonna do a Blade. I don't know if it's just Blade in the movie, but there's a Marvel project. He said he had been working with Kevin Feige in them
Okay.
to do something that will blow away what we already saw.
Okay, I want to see Punisher and I want to see Ghost Rider in that movie then. I want it to be Marvel Knights.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Marvel Knights aren't officially a team, though.
No, I know, but you could just make them a team. I mean,
I don't want
the
Blade.
MCU could be just...
What I want is
The
like...
MCU is its own thing anyway, so what's the
Yeah,
difference?
yeah, but I mean, like, I want Blade to do what Blade does.
Sure,
and,
he
and
will.
I want, like, they each have, like, Blade is like how Doctor Strange is the supernatural end of the spectrum. That's where we should always have Blade. Punisher is the, like, gritty street level.
That's why they
That's why they
complement
should
each
always
other.
have them. Nah, not together. So
Why?
you're gonna have a vampire crime noir drama. That's gonna be boring as shit. Because
Yeah,
in
but
order to
Ghost
have
Rider 2?
so it would need Ghost Rider and Blade work because
Yeah.
they've done that before. They're from the same corner, but throwing the Punisher in there is just like, meh, you don't really need him. What's the Punisher
dare
gonna do
you.
that Blade doesn't do?
How dare
No, I
you.
like him. Don't get me wrong. I love him, but I'm just saying, like,
Well, they are different. They're different characters. Just because
what
the
would you
Punisher
need-
doesn't have powers doesn't mean he's irrelevant.
what will he do to a vampire? He get his ass throttled, like horribly.
I don't know, man. Punisher's fought higher end villains than the.
But he
fucking
doesn't
vampire.
fight vampires. So if you put Blade wields guns and swords.
This
Remember
is the
what
thing.
I was talking about
But this
with
is
the
thing.
figures?
You have growth within the movie. You tell.
That's not growth. You're saying have Punisher become a vampire hunter?
Hold on, I didn't get to finish what I was saying.
Go
I
ahead.
was saying you have growth throughout the movie. Like
Mhm.
if it's a movie surrounded around vampires
Mhm.
and you have Punisher in there, you got to be like Blade's got to tell Punisher like, dude, this is what you need to do. I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna show you what the hell you have to do. Like Ghost Rider's gonna know what to do.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, Punisher's faced off against Morbius before, so he's
Oh, no,
got
he
some
faced
experience.
off, but he didn't win. Every time he fights a supernatural guy, he gets his ass either killed or
Well, I
he
mean,
gets close to it, and the stories suck ass.
okay.
Remember when?
Well, then what do you want?
do you remember? No, I
exclude
want
him
the
from the
Marvel
story.
Knights. I don't want all of them together at all, but I
Yeah.
want that division. I want that. Like the Midnight Suns universe is its own thing. When that kind of shit goes down, you need to pull characters from that universe. When like Punisher fits in with the main MCU, he's just real street level. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be the one fighting off the Shatari or something. He's the guy fighting like
But
the
I mean, it's
actual
no different
crime.
from Batman.
Punisher
Justice
is
League.
way different from Batman.
Nah.
I mean, his operations are similar, but I'm saying Punisher doesn't go into space and fight those threats. They've never done that with that character. Operation Galactic Storm, he was still boots on the ground in New York City, fighting regular crime.
$20.99 Punisher.
Yeah, that's a whole. Yeah, that one could go into space. I wouldn't really.
Yeah.
That wouldn't make a big deal. But what I'm saying is, like, mainstream regular Punisher is out of his depth outside of fighting. There was one story, and that was during Civil War, where he really was like fighting villains that were way outside of his depth. But he had robbed a Shield armory, and he had all these experimental like he had this glove called the Devil's Hand or Devil's Gauntlet or some shit.
Yeah.
That was like it was like stupid powerful, but I think it was like a 1 or 2 shot weapon. So he had all these weird tricks, and plus that was when Ariel Olivetti, I think his name is, the artist is, who draws everybody's fucking swole.
Oh yeah.
And it made sense in that book for him to actually do really crazy shit. You're like, okay, I get it. But he still wasn't. He was fighting D-list villains that had powers. He wasn't fighting A-list villains that had, A-list powers. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? So, like, with him, he's one of those ones like Moon Knight. Moon Knight's not going to space to fight, galactic threats. You've got a bunch of other people who that's their shtick.
Okay.
So, like, I feel like Moon Knight is where we get our drama and our fucking, like Batman the Animated
Okay, but
Series.
I mean,
the way
there's
it should
literally
be.
no difference between Whistler and fucking Punisher.
No,
I mean,
there is. Whistler
there's
is
a difference, but-
Whistler is Q, and fucking, Blade is like James Bond. Blade
But the
actually
point I'm
goes
trying
out
to
and
make is
does it.
that their level of where they're at is on the same.
But their
I'm not-
skill sets are different. You get what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Punisher
Like,
has a better skill set than fucking Whistler does.
no, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
You think a normal human who can tangle with vampires at like 60 years old versus a regular human who fights mobsters, the mobster killing guy has a better skill set than the vampire hunter?
But that's just because he's been used to hunting vampires.
Dude, like if you fight vampires for a living, you are trained in weapons that would make the Punisher's job super easy. You're trained in all kinds of
I mean,
shit.
but there's a will, there's a way.
Come
People
on,
adapt.
dude, no.
Just because the dude hasn't seen him.
No, that's like saying...
But he's also faced off against him, so he knows what to do.
Remember what I said, like, there's a problem that people have with putting superheroes in regular world situations that make people who operate in the... people who are exceptional that operate in that world less exceptional. If you bring standard Punisher into supernatural world where you have characters up here at the top of their game and now Punisher is in that world, you've just made Punisher obsolete. Who's he punishing? They're already dead. They're undead. They're supernatural. His rules don't work in the supernatural realm. Resurrection, fucking spells and all. He's out of his depth. They could put a spell on him. They did that shit. Do you remember that? They killed him.
Yeah.
And then they brought him back to life. He had the weird glowing shit going on. It was so bad. Punisher has no business being around that shit at all. They need to, if they do it, it should be he's the straight man, and, so to speak.
But he's worked in teams. He's worked with like Thunderbolts and he's worked with.
But in the Thunderbolts books, he was out of his depth dealing with some of those characters. They would always make him the guy that's like fuck, you know, like.
So was Crossbones though, but they still used him.
Yeah,
there's a way to use everybody.
But how effective were those stories?
I mean, it all comes down to the writing. I mean, if the writing's shit, of course it's not going to be effective.
What I'm saying is, like, if a writer, this is so off of the subject.
I know, we're way off.
There are
debate
certain,
about Punisher.
There are certain... No, Punisher's one of my favorite characters, but he doesn't work out. It's the same problem I have with Batman. Batman is one of my favorite characters, but when you make a Justice League story, he needs to be coordinating the team, giving them intel. He doesn't need to be the guy on the front lines fighting fucking parademons and shit because they can take more. He can't dish out what a parademon, which you need to kill a parademon. And like once you have Superman and Wonder Woman and Shazam and Martian Manhunter, who the fuck is asking for Batman? We don't need him. Everybody else is smarter than him. So like once you, it's the same. Batman is a street level character, and he should be. He's the best in the street level, like low level metahuman. You know, that's what he should be fighting.
Sure.
Punisher is almost the same thing, except Punisher will kill who he fights,
exactly,
which makes it more interesting. But once you get past that street level, lower level superhuman shit, you have to come up with.
But there's tons of humans in past vampire stories that have killed tons of vampires before.
But were all those stories good? No. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
well, I don't know. I mean, like Dracula. That's a good story. Sure.
I know Dracula's good, but and Van Helsing is like Whistler. That was the whole point.
Sure.
They're trained in a whole nother set of skills.
So what's the difference
that makes them? We don't have 60 years to train the Punisher to do what.
No, I'm not saying
Whistler does.
You don't have to be trained for 60 years. Like he's fought like vampire-based characters before. Whether he's lost or not is irrelevant.
Because it's extremely relevant.
He's a part of a team.
I get it. If he's part of a team, he'll sit in the background and he'll still be useless. And what's the point of having him?
No,
other than you like Punisher.
Because he has it's not just because of that. He has skills. He has military skills.
I got you, but those
Blade does not.
Blade is like military times 1,000 because he does it all by himself and he's fighting undead shit.
But if you're going to use Batman, the same thing is coordinate a team, then you can use Punisher the same way to coordinate a team.
Punisher,
he's got tactical skills.
He is a tactician, but Blade is that and more, and that's what I'm saying. You don't need him if you're outclassed. It's like Solid Snake. If I had Solid Snake, I don't need the Punisher. Did you ever watch that really bad? It was well animated and it was pretty well drawn, but it was really bad. Avengers Confidential, where it was Punisher and Black Widow were running around. Punisher was voiced by
I saw that shit
by
movie.
Daryl.
It was terrible.
And they were making the Punisher like what you're saying. They made him fight all these like dudes with powers that there's no fucking way. And the Punisher would stab them and they'd stay dead. And I'm like, how did he even get in there to stab them? Or like he was punching robots and shit. And I'm like, come on now. Like, that's not the Punisher. He doesn't do that sort of shit. Like, you gotta... if the character is gonna be if you're gonna put the character in like a out of, it's not fish out of water, but if you're gonna pull him out of his comfort zone, then that's the only reason I see you put him in like, you know, vampire. You take them way out of their element. You know, like it's sometimes it feels weird. Like, do you remember the first World's Finest, the cartoon that they did when Batman first teamed up with Superman in the animated series?
Yeah.
And Batman was doing super jumps and shit because they had to make Batman that much better in order for him to be on par with Superman. Like, he was jumping like a story into the air to jump over robots.
Superman across a room.
Yeah, he threw Superman, but I got that because they say Superman's strength. It's not like Superman is not walking around, muscles tense, everything prepared to put his weight down. Because no one has ever dared to do something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he caught Superman off guard. If anyone would catch Superman off guard, I'll give him that. Batman will be the guy crazy enough to do it. Catch him off guard and they show you Superman landed like, no, this motherfucker didn't just throw me. And then he like 2 seconds later, he checked him like, nah, nah, you're out of your depth here. And it was quick and it was done. That's why I don't like BVS. I'm like, that fight is done.
Yeah.
That fight's done before it started.
In
It's one of those things where the two of them would kind of have a really quick exchange, and then Batman would be like, okay, fuck, I'm not going to use this approach. I can't slap this guy, so I'm done. But people complained about World's Finest because Batman was pushed so high up, and then they made Superman clumsy to make to bridge the gap between the two characters. Instead of making Batman have a harder time and have him fight harder, they made Superman clumsy and made robots slapping Superman around so that in the end it made Batman look better. It's kind of like when you read books where, like Gambit, there was the Gambit series was really good. The art was good. A lot of the stories were good. But they had Blade team up with Gambit, and when they met, they fought. But because it was Gambit's book, Gambit beat Blade in a fight. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Gambit can't beat Cyclops in a fight, let alone Blade. And it wasn't like a fight to the death, but it was like they're flipping around and they're cutting at each other and shit. And somehow Gambit floored Blade. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You're Gambit. You steal shit, you smirk, you throw cards. If you're not doing anything with your mutant power, you are not getting one up on Blade. Because Blade would have shot him in the leg and then, like, probably pummeled his ass on the ground or something. You'll survive it, because he's not killing heroes, you know what I mean? He knows the difference. But yeah, he's not going to be merciful to you. But the way it was written, because it was Gambit's book, they wanted to make Gambit look good, so Blade lost. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And the book is dope. Like, everything else is dope. It's just, no. You can't, certain characters you can't write that way. Like, when the Silver Surfer got his ass whooped by the Hulk. Silver Surfer's power is cosmic. It's directly tied to the universe's existence.
Yeah.
There's not enough rage in any cosmos for you to beat someone whose power comes from the cosmos.
Yeah.
And I didn't make this up. I read this when I was a child, and as soon as it clicked and I understood it, I was like, how the fuck is the Punisher gonna dent, the Hulk gonna dent the Silver Surfer's skin? That makes no damn sense. And it always bugged me. I hated that.
I don't really care.
But, I don't know, just to like, cap off the, our tangent.
Our tangents.
I feel like if we put Punisher in the same world as Blade, like in the same story with Blade, he's going to be the guy that we watch the story through. As we watch the amazing people do the crazy amazing shit, Punisher's going to be like, fuck, the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, he'll be literally the straight man in a situation that's outside of his usual scope, you know? And he's already a guy who, within the Marvel Universe, he constantly runs into shit he runs into people who are outside of his depth when he steps outside of just, like, mobsters and all that shit. So I feel like if they made the Marvel Knights a team, it would be kind of So it'd be better if it was like Marvel Knights, because we know what that means. Like, we know that that's the imprint where we get the more darker stories. and they keep the Midnight Suns. They keep the standard Marvel Knights shit where we have, you know, Daredevil, Elektra, and what's his name, Punisher. Keep that separate, and Moon Knight and all that. Like, do it, or maybe not even. We know that it's Marvel Knights, but just have them be the, you know, the not mainline MCU shit, if that makes sense. Like, you know, you're gonna get something different, kind of like what they're doing with the Netflix universe. It has the Marvel Knights feel, so you kind of don't. They don't need to say it per se, but it feels like, you know, Marvel Knights to begin with. But I don't know. Back on our thing, our original thing. What was the original thing before that? I fucking forgot. I totally forgot. We were talking about something, and I think we mentioned Batman, and then we mentioned the Punisher. I totally forgot. Okay, but we were talking about needing more, you know, villains and stuff like that, and you were talking about Blade villains and Punisher villains and all that stuff. But yeah, we need. I think overall, though, we were talking about getting back to the point where we only have one thing to collect. Once you finish collecting everything, we have like one. It'll be dope to get to the point where you finish your collection and you have one thing to focus on. I think that'd be dope. What about you? Agent O just showed up.
Yo,
What do you think? Like, do you collect? So we were talking about like collecting with a goal in mind. Like, when I collect anything, it's like I see it in my head. This is the amount. These are the guys I want. I want to see them together on my shelf. You know, I don't want all of them necessarily, but I want to see certain things. Like the way I have that little area where there's a bunch of Ichigos and stuff. Like, those are the ones I really like. I want to see them on the shelf together. And so my habits are all kind of skewed towards getting to that end. Is that how you collect?
Somewhat. I mean, there's always always feel like there's outliers, like Tekka Man figures and stuff like that. Like, I don't need all of them. I just need a couple of those guys, and then it'll be like little bits of stuff here and there. As far as like, say, like Marvel Legends, there are certain teams I want and there's certain characters that they've already done that they haven't done yet. Like I would like to have the whole team of Next Wave.
Yeah, I kind of gave up on them.
I know.
I like them, but I don't think. Don't we have most of them?
Most of them. I think we're only missing like Boom Boom and the Captain.
But they gave us a head for the Captain, right? No, that was Derek.
That was the Dirk Danger. Yeah, but they
that
never
name.
did a Captain figure.
Dirk Danger.
Dirk Diggler?
It's so jacked up, but it's quality. I haven't read that in forever, man. God. But
yeah, I don't know if I'll ever be done like
really
collecting that with a goal. It just always seems like there's something else.
They've got you with that sort of, like, do you feel like, because we talked about this, like with Legends, right? Every year they give us like 20 Spider-Man figures. I use him as an example because he's Marvel's most popular character. So collectors will be like, this Pizza Spider-Man's the best Spider-Man ever. And then next month, Marvel Legends releases a new one.
Oh my god, they released the McFarlane one.
We got the new, you know, Spider-Man. It's better than the last one. Even though it's not, it's just new. So, like, when you collect Transformers, so your rabbit hole is more fucked up than a lot of people's because they have infinite numbers of fucking Optimus Prime and all these characters. So wouldn't it make sense to have, you would think, for most collectors, you would have like this is the looks that I like. I like, you know, Guido Guidi.
I like Transformers. It's easier, I feel like, because
isn't that the majority of what you collect?
Well, I mean, I have I have more figure arts now than I do Transformers.
What? Really?
Yeah, with like the movie line, with the Kamen Rider Ryuki and
Oh, you got all the Ryuki guys?
Just about. I've got most of them. Yeah, I don't know.
Are you sure?
I can. Yeah, because
more figure arts than Transformers.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, just because of the movie line alone, that was all those
That's
Iron Man
true.
figures.
You've been buying a bunch of Iron Man figures and shit. Yeah.
But like with Transformers, it's easier because I can just choose the best looks that I like from my favorite series and then leave it alone. Like, obviously I have a G1 version of Optimus with the Masterpiece version. Then I chose like another one from IDW and then Fall of Cyber or War for Cybertron, and then that was it. Like I was done with Optimus. Same thing with Jazz or with Grimlock. There's like 2 versions of Grimlock I want, and then I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. So you have a goal then.
Yeah.
So, but with Legends, I mean, sorry, with Figuarts, right? If you collect movie figures, then that's different. But don't you want?
And that's all I've been collecting,
movies?
basically.
Okay.
Movies and some comics. Like,
so will you get every look from every movie they've been in? Is that your goal?
No.
Okay. So
no.
what is the goal? You only get what, appeals?
Just enough to get the whole team of Avengers.
But you have the whole team of Avengers.
Except Hawkeye. I never got Hawkeye. And
Really? I thought you got the one with the jacket.
No. I wanted to, but it was Thomas She Webb exclusive.
Oh, yeah. We did talk about that.
And I just was like, screw it, because the price just jumped astronomically.
Those figures.
It got so high.
Yeah, I hate web exclusives, the Tamashi ones. It sucks because, like,
they're not web exclusive no more.
Yeah,
like,
exactly, because they sell them at, like, Big Bad Toy Store and all those other places, and you could get them at a toy show or something like that, so it's not necessarily...
Or even, like, what they come with. Like, the accessories. Like, the last good web exclusive that I feel that they've had was the Fies Autovagin combo.
Yeah,
because that was $80, but you got the full figure, all the weapons,
and the
all
bike.
all the hands, and then you got the bike.
And
the bike was fully transformable.
And didn't they have a set that came with the stand, or was that for?
That was separate. They had the blacklight stand.
They did that for Kaiser though.
Yeah, Kaiser and Fies had a stand.
Yeah.
I don't know if
those guys. I know you're like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Those guys over there.
Yeah.
So then you do have a goal.
Yeah.
So you do have.
There's just every once in a while, there might be like a series or something I like, and then they'll put out a figure of it, and I'll be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's a one-off. That's a one-off thing. That that makes sense. That's
what I'm saying. Like, I don't feel like I'll ever completely stop collecting because there'll always be something.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I hear a lot of people say it, and they say it like it's a bad thing, and I don't know. I don't feel like it's necessarily a bad thing because, like I said earlier, and ODC said, you manage to amass all this shit that you actually want to get.
Yeah.
So, like, when you stop, you filled your fucking man cave or whatever with all the shit you wanted. You know what I mean? So,
plus, you should be able to, like, say if they do, like you said, like they come out with a better version of something.
Get rid of the old one.
Get rid of the old one and sell it.
Like those
Exactly. Yeah, the Playmates movie turtles.
Poor Donatello.
I know, right?
His mouth is over here and his eyes are over. He's a Picasso for that thing.
You're right. You're right. Actually, when I get the NECA ones, I mean, those are going somewhere. Maybe they'll go to Nico. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're not. Yeah. That's what we're saying. Like when the new one comes out, if there is an ideal one, then the less than ideal one, give it to someone else who likes that shit.
True. Yeah.
And I don't need to keep it. I mean, if I can't
You guys
sell it,
already talked about Toy Galaxy.
that's what that's what kind of prompted
Sparked
this.
this.
Yeah, because I was talking to him about it, and I was like, let's check this video out, and I let him see what he was talking about. And I guess that's a good thing you brought that up too, because there's a point to be made there.
Yeah.
You should not need to go through selling 3 collections to figure out that you should have only been collecting what you like in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how you could be grown and be be that confused about your own collection. Like, how do you lose sight of, I don't know. I don't personally understand how you would lose sight of the thing that you start, like what made you want to do this in the first place.
Yeah.
I think he started off, sounds like he started off wanting to collect stuff, but then also wanting to collect things of value.
You can sell it, yeah.
And when you start to do that, you start to just amass all this shit. And, and then you don't even know what to do with it. Like I couldn't believe that documentary ODC was talking about with the lady that had every
G.I. Joe, everything,
made.
yeah. From every country, every variation. She said she was missing like 1 or 2 things.
That's jacked
And
up.
that's ridiculous.
That
It's like, how the fuck? How? If you have shit from, I mean, she had like miscarded figures. She had like the figures that were on the right card that had errors on them. Like, she had thousands of like each person, each Joe. And there's thousands of Joes. I was
I
like,
think
She's
she
like
finally-
her own living database.
Yeah.
I know, right? She got To the point though, where she's like, "This is fucking.
It's stupid. Yeah.
This is stupid. That's too
Yeah.
much."
Well, how do you have a house full of
G.I.
Joes before
Joes.
you realize like you fucked up?
That's what I'm saying. Like there's that that thin line between just collecting and hoarding, and there's a lot of people who hoard and say I'm a collector, but you don't even enjoy the shit that you're hoarding.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
like,
the problem.
If you enjoy it and you have it and you play with it, you interact with it or whatever, then I get it. You got a lot of shit. But if you just have it in boxes stowed away somewhere just so you can say I have it, you're not really a collector. You're a hoarder. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
There's a huge
you know?
difference.
So you don't want to get to that point. You don't want to misconstrue it either, and then fool yourself into thinking that like you're doing the other thing when you're actually doing.
Yeah, I feel like if you're collecting just to buy and sell and I guess quote unquote invest, then you need to stick to just doing that.
You need to just become a vendor.
I agree.
At that point.
I
Just
agree.
do that. If you want to look at toys all day and then sell them and make money, become a vendor, open up your own toy show or toy shop, and go that route.
Yep.
Make it a business.
I agree. Sell your that would make sense.
Yeah, because I watched that video and I was like, man, I started off at where you ended up with collecting.
Exactly.
That Toy Galaxy video, yeah, man. I don't know, maybe that guy's just neurotic.
I think he is neurotic. God, this shit happens.
Well, I mean, it sounds
often.
like it because he's saying, man, I felt like I was going to, if I didn't get this thing at this point, I was going to lose out on it forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, I bought, I would buy 3 versions, one version to sell, one version to have a mint on
Extremely
card,
neurotic.
and one to have on display. And I'm just like,
yeah, it shouldn't be like
yeah, exactly.
Who has money for that? What do you do?
No,
like,
literally, that's
like,
the thing
are
you
you
do.
making crack like this to be able to afford all that?
Ghetto dope.
Cocaine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little much. It's a little much. I don't know. It's strange to me that's a thing. That's why that's kind of why I wanted to talk about it, because I see it a lot. I see a lot of people just getting into the straight up, I don't know, it's like hoarding. I can't call it anything else. And it's like, that's not enjoying what you set out to do in the first place. And he did talk about that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you should know better. Like,
but he said he sold his old collection to get a new collection.
Another collection.
So what? I'm confused here. Did you buy the same shit back, or?
I mean, he did also say
Did he
like
have,
he did start collecting more of what he actually liked instead of just collecting for collecting's sake. But
that's what it seems like he was doing. Damn, I wish I knew this existed. I would have looked for this, but it'd be more expensive. Sorry, I'm jumping off topic again. But yeah, it's one of those things. You set out, the goal should be set out to get shit you like, shit that, inspires you, shit that, you love, and then that's it. There shouldn't be, listening to what the community says. There shouldn't be, doing what other people tell you to do, and granted, we're giving you our opinion on these things.
You don't have to take our word for it.
I know, right? No, but I mean, we're just throwing out like the logical perspective. You know what I'm saying? At least it feels logical. I mean, I like thing A, so I buy thing A, so I can look at and interact with thing A that I like. Mm-hmm. Doesn't really get much more logical than that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Buying it because person, XYZ said that you should buy it, and I don't like it, but I see XYZ and ABC and all these other guys doing it, so I jump in. That's a whole different problem you have, because you're not enjoying it. You're doing it because they're doing it.
Yeah, you're not actually, and then, down the line you're going to start realizing that, oh wait, I'm just doing this because other people did it, and I'm not actually doing what I want, and now I have all this stuff that I don't maybe necessarily want.
Exactly.
But I've acquired via thinking that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, eventually, like, it's going to catch up, like, with you as a person. Like, you're going to be like, wow, why did I do this?
Yeah.
I wasted all this time and money doing this thing I just...
You don't really give a shit about.
As a more mature person, now I don't give a shit about it. So then you got to go through the hassle of selling it, then getting the stuff that you actually wanted that maybe you passed on or didn't think about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a weird, fucked up situation.
I've had to check myself from time to time just on, like, oh, I really want this thing, or you see this character you really want, but it's like I didn't really need it.
Yeah.
So I ended up not going through with like purchasing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes you got to do that to yourself.
Oh yeah, like what was it? Like 2 years ago, I started when I was telling you when we would have podcasts, and I was like, dude, I don't know what's been going on with me lately, but as soon as I buy something, I have instant buyer's remorse. But then I was like, you know what? I finally told myself within like the last year, I'm just like, just look at like grab it at the store. By the time I get to the register, if I have an inkling that I don't want this,
then leave it.
Put it the fuck back.
Yeah, leave it. Yep,
and that's what I do every time.
That's
I'll go to the toy section, look. I'll be like, okay, I might grab this or this, and then I go to and I'll just put them back.
Yep. That's exactly what I do. Exactly what I do. Yeah, I go like Nico and I, or Lil Strident and I will walk around the store, get to the toy section like Target or Walmart, and we walk through, and I'll look at a thing, put it down, walk around, come back to it. Look at it again just to see if it's that, like, does it fit somewhere in what I have? Is it something I've actually been looking for? And sometimes I'll pick it up, like you said, and be walking around with it, and take a look at it from time to time as I'm on my way to the register. And then sometimes it's like, yeah, nah, I'm good. Like freaking the cap from Infinity War. I don't know how many times I've picked the shit up, but I'm like, it doesn't look like fucking Chris Evans, so I put it right back, and I'm like, I don't want this. I'll wait or I'll skip it, because there's going to be another one.
Maybe when you put it back down, it goes into, Thanos uses Infinity Gauntlet and changes the head sculpt on it. And then when you come back the next day, it'll have the right head sculpt on it.
That'd be awesome. But yeah, I've been there, man. Like, I definitely do that shit. I do that a lot with Transformers, because, like, with Optimus Prime, I never got him when I was a kid. I got him when I was, like, about to graduate college. Yeah. That was when I got my first fucking Optimus Prime. And it was the masterpiece. The MPO-1, big-ass metal one with the base and the fucking glowing chest and all that shit. And I almost had a fucking heart attack. Like, what the fuck is this? Oh, my God. I have to buy it. And I bought it. I was happy with it. It's awesome. And then I started seeing, like, more of the old school shit pop up. And I'm like, I got to get this. But then when I got in front of those figures, I was like, it looks awesome, but I never really wanted these guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I only wanted Prime, so hey. And then every now and then a Prime will come out. And I'm like, oh shit, another one, I gotta get it. And I'm like, no, how many fucking Primes do I need? I'm good. I'm just gonna leave it at what I got, you know? So yeah, it's important to be able to have some kind of self-control. We are supposed to be adults after all. You know?
I had to tell a while ago, Indy, he was asking me if I was getting the Yamaguchi Wolverine, and I was like, yeah, they got me. But because of how dope it looks, and it looks like it came straight out of the Capcom X-Men Children of the Atom game. Yep. But then I was like, after that, I was like, yo, but that's going to be my last one, because I have a bunch of Wolverines. And, but then I was like, but I am getting Spider-Man Homecoming. I have a bunch of Spider-Man. So I was like, I have to cut myself off at some point.
Well, especially because they don't look that different. Especially with Spider-Man. There's a lot of Spider-Man figures, but they don't all look that different. If they did, like, every era, like if I had a Ditko Spider-Man, if I had a Bagley Spider-Man, if I had a fucking Larson Spider-Man, I had a McFarlane, and then the movies, I'd be like, 100%, because then that makes sense. But that's not how they make the figures. Even though some of them have the influence, because you definitely got a McFarlane influence Spider-Man. It's not how they make the figures, man, unfortunately. They should. DC Collectibles does. When they make making figures.
A figure.
Yeah, when they're making different figures besides Batman and fucking, Wonder Woman and Superman. But yeah, they do like artist specific versions of the characters, and I think that's when we should be able to, be interested in getting those individual versions. But yeah, there's a point where you just got to be like, fuck it, I gotta know.
Yeah.
Shit, I want that new Marvel Legends Wolverine.
No, I shouldn't. All the Tiger Strike ones?
Yeah, man. But I'm probably not
good one.
It's good. It's good, but it's not perfect. But if you're getting the fucking Revoltech one, then you really don't need it. You don't.
Yeah, you don't.
The Revoltech one is like the right size. He's even probably a little bit more muscular than that one. And like his claws are better because all the claws are on a plate. You know what I mean? So they don't wobble around. They're not individual claws. He does come with a hand, I think, that you can remove the individual claws. so you could have him do the 2 claw thing on somebody's neck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
On Deadpool.
yeah, exactly. But if you own a Deadpool, I definitely don't. I can't stand.
I have
Deadpool.
one.
I would, if you get one,
Get the '90s one.
get the 90s one.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
That's
cheap too. You can get
that's
it for like
when
12
I liked
bucks.
him. Really?
12 to 15 bucks tops is you can get that because there was 2 per case
Yeah.
and there were a dime a dozen everywhere.
Huh. That's probably the one I'll get. Wow, this looks better. That's weird.
I mean, her vest.
Why is her head
pops
so
out
low?
more.
That one. This is just
Her head's
everything is smaller on that one.
Her head's like this.
Wow. Wow, that looks a lot better with the smirk and everything. God, how did that happen? But that's what I was saying about. Anyway, let me not jump onto another tangent. So anyway, that is our. I guess that is the conversation, man. You should have a goal. It makes things easier. If you don't, I guess you don't. You know what I mean? If you can work like that, then you work like that. But you know, I think if we're being logical, you should have a fucking goal. It makes no sense for you to just jump into something, you know, with no type of understanding of what you're getting into and what you want to accomplish, and expect to be successful in it. You need to have some kind of idea of what you're trying to do, have some idea where you want to end up, and some idea how you're going to get there. Because, I mean, like, shit can be an undertaking. I mean, look at all these choices that we were just talking about. And, I mean, it doesn't have to be super complicated, and it's less complicated if you do have a goal. I can tell you that much, because I know with me, I have a goal for what I want to see in my collection, and it makes it simple so I don't struggle when I'm making a decision. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else you guys want to go on?
I want to see a gif of the more you know at the end of this.
I have to look for that now. That actually makes sense.